You guys, I made $1,600 in sales on Poshmark and eBay over the weekend. Let's go over what sold. But first, disclaimer, I really hate videos that start off like this, and I'm sharing this just to remind you that it is so important to be wary of people who are only sharing their sales numbers because it is not an indicator of how healthy somebody's business is. I hope by these videos you can see kind of what an average profit may be and how easy it is to lose money on sales even when you have a really high ASP sale. I will always be open and honest about the profits I make per video. That's always something I really cared about, and I've always been a little cringed off about people who only share their sales because there's so much more that goes into it, and with the reselling business it's really volatile and you never know what's going to happen. So if someone's trying just to push out how much sales they're having and is not sharing the insides of how their business is doing, just be a little bit careful about some of the things that they're saying. And also that $1,600 in sales for me was after fees, and some people will share the number of what they made before fees are even taken out, so that number can be exponentially higher. So my actual profit for the weekend was $800, which I'm super happy about. I haven't had a weekend that went over so well in a very long time, so I'm really glad that the listing and putting in the extra work has helped, and it's been really reassuring seeing that as long as I actually work on my business, I can make money. So these are just a couple of my sales here. This first item are these Nilly Lotan pants. It only took 3 days to sell, and it made a $175 profit on them. And they were a size 00, which I usually don't pick up super small sizes. In this case, this is a situation when I will do so when a style is super in demand. I actually had this style in my Talk Trendy to Me newsletter like a while back, so that's how I know to look out for it. So that's why it's so important to be up to date on styles that are selling well. And this really goes into the trend that baggy pants are really in. Anything with like kind of wider hips, knee area, I find that these styles are doing really well across a lot of different designer brands. Next is this G label by Goop Top. I made a $100 profit off of it, but it did take a year to sell. I did less this a little bit on the higher end, so I ended up selling it for 50% off what my actual listed price was, but I didn't decrease the price like a lot of the time because it was getting a lot of activity on it. I do like sourcing this brand, and I think this was more of a rare style. I also did source it on the cheaper side, so I got it at a buy sell trade store for I think like $12, so that's how I was able to make about a $100 profit off of it. And because I really need my sales to come in, cash flow is a little bit more like I need to be better about it since I am spending more. I decided to just send that 50% offer to try to get that sale here. So with this brand, different styles are gonna do better than others. I haven't done too much research on it because most of the time when I do find it, I do pick it up because I do find that the brand sells really well for me. Next is this Love Shack fancy dress that did take 2 years to sell, and I made a $68 profit off of it. I'm trying to get rid of like my Love Shack Fancy. Like it's one of the brands, like in my other video, that the resale value has just gone down a ton. I mean, there are still some styles out there that are going to be more rare, but even those I probably wouldn't spend too much money on versus in the past I used to spend like 60, 70, like this dress I spent like $130 on or something like that, over $100, because this was more of a rare style. So even like the rare styles just aren't selling as well. So I really don't source Love Shack Fancy that much because I don't really come across it that much and make it worth it to pick up. So overall, as a summary for this item, you have to be so specific about Love Shack Fancy. I never like to cross off any brand, but it's one of those brands where I so easily just want to be like, yeah, it's off my list. And lastly are these Christian Louboutin heels that took only 1 day to sell. They sold the next day after listing them the night before, and I made a $169 profit off of them. When I'm listing shoes, I want them gone quick. I hate storing them, so I was really happy for this quick sale. I maybe didn't do enough research. I probably could have gotten more for it, but majority of the time I'm more likely to list shoes a little bit on the lower end just to sell them quickly, so I'm totally fine about that. There weren't like a ton of this listed. I think other solds were closer to like 600 potentially, but this one did have some like spots on the leather, which are a little bit harder to get off for these shoes, so that's also why I priced them around $550, and they sold with my offer to liker at $494. So these shoes, Christian Louboutins, I mean, these are just classic piece, so if you can find them in the $150 to $225 range are usually a decent pickup, especially if your like closet store is more centered around shoes, the designer brands. I'm more selective about even picking up any kind of Louboutins. They have to be like a really good style, like evergreen style, something like that. So be on the lookout for these shoes, I guess. I guess people are looking out for them because I think this person sent an offer and then detracted and took my offer. I don't remember, but these shoes sold really well. Really curious if maybe this weekend was just like a good weekend. So you know how your sales on Poshmark and eBay were this past weekend, and maybe like sales are just on the incline, or maybe it's just me listing. So just curious. Let me know how yours were in the comments.